So I had a close friend take the plunge and dive into the mean streets of Washington, D.C. in Tom Clancy's The Division 2. My buddy, who shall henceforth be referred to as Daddy, saw some of my live streams and decided to give the game a shot as a result. So he's since then jumped in headfirst, dropping baddies like trash bags and collecting loot like it's on sale. And my veteran agent heart swells just saying this. Recently, he asked me if I had any builds in mind that could give armor regen and deal out decent damage. Well, I nearly broke my brain trying to contain my excitement at that request. Like, real talk, the only thing more exciting than that would be my future girlfriend asking me the same question. But I eventually calmed down, and then I got to work build crafting. This video is the result of my labor, so we have 3 builds, presented in a good, better, best format that can all be targeted farmed, and can be used with a variety of weapons. They're pretty straightforward in their setup, and more importantly, are accessible to new players like Daddy. Ride with me as I show you how to heal like Wolverine while taking down some bad guys in the Division 2. Oh my goodness, bro. Did I knock out all your coins? Bro, I took him out like he was Sonic. Bro, do you need a Chaos Emerald? This build uses 4 pieces of the ongoing directive gear set in tandem with 2 pieces of the Golden Gear brand set. I like to call this one the ongoing problem. As a quick refresher, the ongoing directive gear set gives hollow point ammo after killing an enemy that's been hit by a status effect. This can include bleed, blind, burn, disorient, disrupt, and shock. The hollow point ammo grants 20% bonus damage and inflicts bleed on hit, allowing for the build to sustain itself. For this build, the chest piece in ongoing directive is important, as it increases the bonus hollow point damage to 50%. The backpack used in this build is from Golden Gear, and it uses the Unstoppable Force talent. It grants a 5% damage bonus for 10 seconds after killing an enemy, which stacks up to 5 times for a 25% total damage bonus. Killing another enemy refreshes the timer. All other armor pieces are dealer's choice and should be rolled for critical hit chance where possible, followed by critical hit damage. As shown, the build uses a mask and backpack from Golden Gear, and the rest is all ongoing directive. Skills are ultimately dealer's choice, but you'll want to include one that inflicts a status effect. The Blinder Firefly and the Banshee Pulse are both good options. The Banshee Pulse is shown here. Any weapon will do here as long as it has a Sadist talent. Sadist grants 30% bonus weapon damage to bleeding targets. I prefer to use an LMG, as the hollow point ammo granted is based on clip size. The Military MK46 with the gunner specs plus 50 round extended mag is featured in the build as shown. All other mods here are for critical hit chance. So between the 50% damage from the hollow point ammo, 30% weapon damage from Sadist, and 25% damage from Unstoppable Force, that being the cap, we're looking at a ceiling of 105% total weapon damage. This build as featured has over 50% critical hit chance and 100% critical hit damage, and will hit like a truck. The 2 pieces of Golden Gear will give a 10% bonus to status effects and 1.5% armor regen. Weapons with the Sadist talent, along with Golden Gear and ongoing directive, can be target farmed in Retaliation, Countdown, or the Summit. Oh my goodness, so many footsteps. Y'all going to a block party that I don't know about? Dang, man. That's cold. Is this payback for all them cookouts you didn't get invited to? I guess so. But you definitely ain't getting invited with that attitude. Also, you brought green bean casserole. You really should have known better. This build is very basic and doesn't have a lot of moving parts. It's entirely made of brand sets, more commonly referred to as a high-end build, and uses non-exotic weapons entirely. But for any veterans out there, you can slot in whatever exotic you may prefer. I call this one the Old Guard. We have a Fenris AB mask, the Equalizer chest, and salvo holster, both being part of the Unit Alloys brand set, and all remaining pieces being Guard, namely the backpack, gloves, and knee pads. Each armor piece should have critical hit chance and critical hit damage, and for the salvo holster, either one is fine. Guard will be somewhat hard to farm for, as its default attributes are armor-based, so you'll want to get what you can as close as you can. The other 2 brand sets drop damage-based and will be a lot easier to farm. For With the Gila Guard backpack, I went with Vigilance as a talent, as it gives a flat 25% weapon damage bonus. That bonus is lost for 4 seconds when you get hit, so be sure to take cover. Skills used are dealer's choice and will not affect the build. My weapon of choice is the Lexington, as it's my favorite AR right now, but honestly, any AR with the strain talent will fit in just nicely. All of the weapon mods I've installed give critical hit chance bonuses, with the exception of the magazine, which adds 20 rounds in exchange for a 10% slower reload. Any secondary weapon and pistol can be used here, as the AR is the star of the show. 2 pieces of unit alloys, the Equalizer and Salvo respectively, give a 5% rate of fire boost and add 20% damage to ARs, and the 1 piece of Fenris AB gives a 10% AR damage bonus, giving us 30% total. Quick side note, the Salvo holster adds an additional 5% to the rate of fire, so it'll give you 10% altogether. Add the bonus damage from Vigilance and the 24% total damage bonus from the Equalizer's Perfect Obliterate talent, and we have a potential ceiling of 79% bonus weapon damage just from the armor. Now we factor in the Strained Weapon talent, which can get up to 50% bonus critical hit damage, which gives a grand potential bonus of 129% weapon damage. As shown, the build has over 50% critical hit chance and 100% critical hit damage, which means altogether it hits pretty hard, especially for a high-end build. The 3 pieces of Gila Guard will give 5% bonus armor, 60% bonus health, and 2% armor regen. ARs, along with all 3 brand sets, can be target farmed in the Retaliation, Countdown, or the Summit. But like I said, you can run whatever you like. This kit actually doesn't rely on skills. Alright, got my stacks. Alright, are y'all seeing this damage? Who's out here getting deleted? Okay, so this last one's going to require a bit of farming, being that it relies heavily on an exotic backpack, namely the Memento. I call this one the Striker's Keepsake. A quick recap, the Memento's exotic talent is kill confirmed. Each kill drops a trophy, which for 10 seconds will grant 5% weapon damage and skill efficiency per weapon and skill core respectively, and 10% bonus armor per armor core. For 5 minutes, each token collected will increase weapon damage and skill efficiency by 1% and grant 0.1% armor regen. This can stack up to 30 times, giving 30% weapon damage and skill efficiency, and 3% armor regen when at max. Collecting just 1 token refreshes the timer. The remaining armor pieces are 1 piece of Fenris AB and 4 pieces of the Striker's Battle Gear gear set. The Striker chest piece is important here, being that it increases the number of max damage stacks from 100 to 200. Everything else is dealer's choice. As shown, I have a Fenris AB mask and the Memento, with everything else being Striker. Any rapid fire weapon will do here, though I decided to once again go with the Lexington, this time with the Killer weapon talent. Landing a kill from a critical hit will grant 70% bonus critical hit damage for 10 seconds, with another critical hit kill refreshing the timer. So same rules as before here. All mods but the magazine are for critical hit chance, with the magazine adding 20 rounds in exchange for a 10% slower reload. The secondary weapon and the pistol are, once again, dealer's choice. The Memento's longer term damage bonus max is 30%, when added to Striker's 130% weapon damage at full stacks, and the Killer talent's 70% bonus critical hit damage, we're looking at a potential ceiling of 230% total weapon damage. This is in tandem with the Memento's 3% armor regen when at max trophies. Skills, like before, are dealer's choice. Now, for the bad part. So Striker's Battle Gear and Fenris AB can be target farmed just like anything else. The Memento, however, can't. It can either drop from an exotic cache or as part of a target farm for backpacks as a whole. Can't look for it specifically. On the flip side though, you can farm Black Tusk Retaliations for a shot at this blueprint. This one will be a grind for sure, but it is far and away one of the best ways to get an armor regen build that can deal out massive damage. The build as featured here has over 40% critical hit chance and 100% critical hit damage. So, my personal favorite, the ongoing problem. I'd start there first, being that all the gear can be target farmed and pretty easily at that. And it has a pretty high damage ceiling. If by chance you can get a Memento to drop, then go for the Striker's Keepsake. All that aside, these are all great options for solo players looking to add some survivability to their builds. I'll go ahead and forward these to Daddy and find out how they worked for him. Until next time, agents, see you in DC.